What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Man, somebody's pissed off. Cologne made as you know, if you've been following Cologne and following me, you know Cologne made a video to contradict or to critique Tariq's microphone check trailer. Regardless of what he's going to do, it's not going to work because he's not coming with facts. And I'm sure Tariq is going to come with facts. As you know, I've been dealing with Cologne for almost a year, probably a year. And I've been presenting facts on facts on facts, and he refuses to accept it. I'm convinced that there is nothing you could present to him that's going to convince him that this culture comes from Black America. It's hard to imagine how one can't see that. But because he is so invested in this narrative that Puerto Ricans, Black Americans, and Jamaicans are co-equal creators, he will not accept nothing that goes against that narrative. So that makes our job even more difficult. However, there are people out there who may follow Cologne and want to believe what Cologne is saying. Maybe those individuals, if we present the information, they might change their mind. We might be able to convert them. Because this whole notion of believing that this is a co or a tri-creative process is ridiculous. So this video is my critique of his critique. And I'm going to touch on a few of the things he says in his critique of Tariq's trailer. And I'm going to give some information to demonstrate just how delusional he is. All right? Now, I created this diagram that basically encapsulates what Cologne's thought processes are as it relates to hip-hop culture and who he attributes the particular creative elements in hip-hop. I'm going to get into it more in the video, but let's do this. Let's play some of his talking points in his critique of Tariq's video, and then we're going to start talking about it. Let's go. Let's hold up. All right, here we go. Let's go. So today we are talking about the trailer, the infamous trailer that has been put out, and Tariq has been on his show about 2 days now talking about how he's going to gatekeep the culture. And hey, listen, my stance has always been, and it always will be, hip-hop culture was created, innovated, influenced by Jamaicans, African Americans, and Latinos, mainly Puerto Ricans, in the Bronx, nowhere else. This is the stance of the Hip Hop Museum in the Bronx. That is their stance as well. And so we're going to deal with those three areas as we look at, you guys are going to be listening to the trailer, and we're just going to go in. So let me get this set up. Thank you for tuning in tonight. I pray you had a great day today. If I start to cough, people making a big deal about he coughing. You know what it is? I have allergies. So if I start, it's all good. Just we keep it moving, right? All right, here we go. We're going to get ready to start. Let's listen as we open this up and start talking about this. Here we go. It's the 50th anniversary of hip-hop, but we still have a lot of discrepancies as far as the origins of hip-hop. Let's start right there. Kaz says that it is the 50th anniversary of hip-hop. Well, it would be the 50th anniversary if hip-hop started in 1973, which it did not. The first party was not in 1973. Okay, it does not begin in 1973. We're talking about what came to be known as hip-hop culture, New York City's urban street culture, does not begin in 1973 with any of the elements. So that's the first thing, right? And I look, I'm not against anybody celebrating that. I'm not against that. It is what it is. But if we're going to be truthful, let's be truthful. Okay?
Let me stop it right there. He said 1973 didn't have any of the elements. Right there, he's being disrespectful. Because we know in 1973, Herc had a party where he called the dancers B-boys. And these guys, like Sasa and Trixie, were considered B-boys. So right off the bat, he's dismissing a group of brothers who were considered B-boys. And this is what sets up the 1975 narrative. And this is why 1975 is very important to Cologne. Let's continue.
So it's not the 50th anniversary. So let me move it back, and we're going to begin again. We're going to deal with a couple of things that are said. This is the 50th anniversary of hip hop, but we still have a lot of discrepancies as far as the origins of hip hop. A lot of claims: who did what, who's the first.
Now let's do this. Let me go to an article where I believe Cologne got that particular belief that it started in 75. All right. I think there's an interview as well where Kool Herc mentions 75. So he put together, he's under the impression that Kool Herc got into the Hevelo in 1975. And so what this article is going to show, to him at least, this is the beginning of hip hop. Let's go there. Now, what this article does, it tracks the venues that Herc played at. And one of the last ones was the Hevelo. And the very last paragraph, it says this. And it was there that we really start to see the dancers, the break dancers in there. I mean, historically, this was hip hop at the beginning, and it was here that played a major part in it. That's all I can say, man. Now, this is supposed to be a quote from Herc. So from that paragraph, Cologne believes that this is the actual beginning of hip hop. That is not true.
I just saw an interview with Melly Mel. I don't know if you said, I was going to send it to you. Melly Mel said he was the first MC and that he actually made that up. The whole, I guess, applying it to himself, he said he made that up.
I'm saying again, how can you make it up? If I went to the black door where y'all first became who y'all was.
Yeah, no, he did mention that he used to study y'all.
Yeah.
You know, listening to Herc and them and dissecting what they was doing.
He used to study y'all or whatever, but as far as being an MC, he said he was the first one calling himself MC.
And why was I called MC Kool Herc at the envelope?
Oh, they called you MC Kool Herc?
Yeah, MC, DJ, MC. I was.
And this is what years?
This was 73, in 73 when I took on Kool Herc.
So, Kool Herc said they were at the Hevelo in 73. Now, see, I don't get caught up in dates. And so I don't rely so much on dates. My issue is, where does it come from? From what people group does hip hop come from? It comes from Black Americans. Now, the arrogant thing about Cologne is that he don't care if the pioneers, people who were there, give their account. He believes he's more of an authority on hip hop history than the people that were there. That's how arrogant. Now you're going to listen to Herc. He's saying it started in 70, 71.
You guys are doing this thing, you have no clue that you're creating something. You guys are kids having a good time. You guys don't even have a name for it, right?
Exactly. We like an island, you know, we like an island coming up, like a volcano.
Right.
Make an island. We just on the coming up.
Right.
We broke ground in 79.
79.
That's when Rap is Alive and boom.
Right, but In the
We
early
way before that. We're in the process of that.
Like 73?
From say 71. 73, we can't come back. It didn't
Right.
start there. We can't come back.
So you started in 71.
Yeah, we can't come back to 1520.
Right.
We can't.
Well, I could tell you when it started for these young people right here. And they want to go back into time. These are the people that inspired me and recognized me to play music in my apartment and then dancing outside the window, outside my window, 1520 Central Avenue, 70, 71, 72. And then, before island becomes scene, it's bubbling under the sea. So it's been bubbling where we was at, like a first ripple. And then the island broke from under the sea in 73. Alright, it's been from block to block, from borough to borough. It didn't start in 73. It got exposed and cracked to see a new island is on the block. Alright, it wasn't supposed to go anywhere. It was supposed to be a fad. Next week is over. It's not going to last. It was always told upon me, go down there to the hippity hop. In other words, go down to the gutter rats. Yeah, it was called that. Next week is going to finish. Next month is going to go. Next few months is going to go. But I can tell a kid don't do something, they want to do.
Yeah. And then you had your sound system working in New York from up to then.
No, I was, attending junior high school.
Yeah. I see.
I was around 13 years old back then.
Yeah. Okay. But then you started your sound system.
I started to go to parties when I was around 16 years old.
Yeah.
And around 18, 19, that's when I started to experiment with my own sound system, as far as building a sound system.
And
like this was like 73.
Names out now.
So 73, 74.
At 70, technically it's 70. They just started to say break ground in 73. It ain't going nowhere now. They've been knocking it from say 70, 71. It ain't going nowhere now. We ain't gonna stop now.
You and your crew were playing out. There were several sound systems. No. The sound system, the Jamaican sound systems were very prevalent in the tri-state area. Were you aware of those crews?
No.
And did they play with you at all in the clubs?
No, never.
So African Love, Downbeat,
but never was in their in a space that they was at. Or no.
No way, no shape, form, or fashion. Okay.
I could tell you for a sound system is on the U.S. side. That the Smith brothers, respect them. Soul Brothers from out of Brooklyn, Japan, Nell Gwynns, respect them.
That's what I'm talking about.
I don't know if a Jamaican crew, but I know the Soul Brothers played Nell Gwynns at 42nd Street.
Okay.
And they had brothers like Plummer, LaBoya, Flowers, and the Disco Twins. And them boys was really into technology and big, heavy sound. With me,
Okay, so he clearly didn't know anything about a Jamaican sound system when he was doing his thing. So this whole sound, what do you call it, clash sound culture or sound clash culture from Kingston that's supposed to have some kind of effect in the Bronx, that's folklore. Much of our history in terms of hip hop is folklore. And that's another thing. That's another thing that Cologne is pushing, this sound clash culture. Here you hear Herc says, hey, I know nothing about that. All right, let's listen to some more of Cologne.
I don't fault Kaz for this. Whoever edited this,
Let me
when
go back
Kaz
just a little
says truthful, let's be truthful. Okay, so it's not the 50th anniversary. So let me move it back and we're gonna begin again. We're gonna deal with a couple of things that are said.
It's the 50th anniversary of hip-hop, but we still have a lot of discrepancies as far as the origins of hip-hop, a lot of claims, who did what, who's the first.
Now, I don't fault Kaz for this. Whoever edited this, when Kaz says a lot of claims, the first face that they show is Crazy Legs, the Puerto Rican. They actually show the Rocksteady crew. Okay? So that is, you already see the agenda. You already see, I'm not talking about what Kaz don't have no control over the editing. He just spoke what he spoke. I'm not talking about Kaz. I'm talking about whoever edited this did a clever job of the little sneaky things that they did with this. And there's a lot of flyers that are brought up in this trailer that we're going to take a close look at these flyers. We're going to take a close look and examine what's being said. So there's a lot of people that are making claims, it is said, right? So let's keep going. Looking at something, yes, let's keep going. We're going to go back and listen to the hip-hop.
It's the 50th anniversary of hip-hop, but we still have a lot of discrepancies as far as the origins of hip-hop, a lot of claims, who did what, who's the first this, who's the this, and that, such. But at the end of the day, we need a definitive story, all right? And that story can only be told by the founders of this culture. Like everything.
So he says at the end of the day, we need a definitive story. I agree 100%. At the end of the day, we need a definitive timeline. We need a definitive story. And that takes all of us, okay? Especially those who were there. These are not...
Now, where are your Puerto Rican pioneers? Where are they? You can't give your own opinion if you're 8 years old and 75. You can't give your own opinion. Where produce your Puerto Rican pioneers?
Not the only people that were there, okay? Let's just get that straight. There's thousands of people that were there that will never get their voice heard. Their story will never be told. But we are going to tell our story, because to insinuate that Jamaicans and Puerto Ricans were not there and to put us in the 80s.
Listen, I'm going to speak for myself. I never, ever said that Puerto Ricans, Jamaicans were not there. See, he's creating a false narrative, trying to accuse us of something that we're not saying. We know a lot of you guys lived next to us. You had an opportunity to observe and to participate. So, of course, you were there. All we're saying is that you didn't create jack. You contributed, but you didn't create it. That's the difference. So don't get into this notion or this idea or this fake narrative to say that we're saying you weren't there. That's just a lie.
That is not truthful. That is not, that's not getting the story straight. We have to get the story straight. That's important, right? Now, we're going to segue into Lord Jamar, and we're going to listen to some things that he says. Now, Kaz says the only ones who can tell this story are the pioneers, or the ones that were there. And again, the editor was very clever to show only African Americans. Now, here's the kicker, is that there are so many people that are in this trailer, images, that were people that we one time assumed were African American were actually from the Caribbean. They have...
Now, see, this is another false narrative. We are not arguing that, Cologne. We're saying the culture is African American. We didn't say only Black Americans were in this particular culture. We didn't say that. We said we created the culture. You had other people that participated within our culture. So of course there's going to be Jamaicans that or Afro-Latinos that we might have thought they were African American. It doesn't matter. The point is that the culture is African American. It's not Latino. It's not Caribbean. So again, you're making an argument as if we're saying that everybody in the culture of hip hop was Black American. Come on, Cologne, you are so dishonest, man. Let's go.
Caribbean roots. And we're going to deal with some of that today. But let's keep going. Let's listen to Lord Jamal.
It was being driven and influenced by young black American culture, like the slang, the style of dress, the initial music.
Okay. So he says this was being driven by young black American culture. Okay. See, the editor, whoever edited this, is real slick. Because when they show the electric boogie from a movie that was done in the 80s, Wild Style, that's not from the 70s. So you're not even putting correct imagery in this trailer. Okay, let's just be honest. Okay, and I get it. Maybe we don't have footage from the 70s. I get it. So you're going to use what you use. But you show the electric boogier in Wild Style at the Dixie. But in that same scene, the only people that you see hitting the floor and floor rocking are Puerto Ricans. It is the Rock Steady crew. Well, wait, nah, Frosty Freeze is there. Yes, Frosty Freeze and his family are from Belize. They are Belizean, okay? He's not African American. He is Belizean, all right? So those are things we need to be clear about, all right? So it is not driven by young black Americans. It was not driven. It was never driven by African Americans alone. Never, never, never.
Again, Cologne. The culture is ours. That's what Lord Jamal said. He said the culture was driven. He didn't say we were the only people in the culture. It's just unbelievable, man.
To state that is not the truth. There is Caribbean influence, there is African American influence, and there is Latino influence all day long. Those are just facts. And we're going to talk about some things some other people have said. Let's keep going.
We chose, look at all the boroughs, money making Manhattan, money earning Vernon and Brooklyn. Bronx went to boogie down. Bronx, we was partying. I am Folklore, the first MC of hip hop.
Now, Mel says, it's the boogie down Bronx, most definitely. That is the root. That is the home. That's the home base. That is the birthplace. It's the boogie down Bronx. Boogie down Bronx, stand up. BX, stand up. That's where it's birthed. Okay, and then we get to Kool Herc, who says he is the first MC. He's the first one to talk on a mic. See, but what this editor doesn't realize that what he just did is he already caused contradiction within Coke's testimony and the very next presenter, who is DJ Hollywood. Okay, so Coke says, I'm the first person to grab the mic. Hollywood says, I'm the first person to grab the mic. So which is it? Well, I'll tell you who it is. It's the person before Herc spoke, and that is Melly Mel. Okay? Actually,
let me tell you something. Cologne has difficulty in listening. If you listen very closely, Cologne, DJ Flower say he's the first DJ to do it. Kool Herc wasn't a DJ when he was with Herc in that capacity. So he was an MC. Melly Mel said he's the first rapper to do it, to be an MC. These are different categories. There's no conflict, man. Listen.
It's Kid Creole. It is Flash of the 3 MCs. But I digress. Let me get somewhere. Here we go.
I introduced rapping to the turntables because when I came with it, nobody would roll with me. I'm right after Rudy Ray.
All right. I want to go back for a minute, real quick. Boom, boom. Okay. Nobody knows. I'm right after. All right. Now he says I'm right after Rudy Ray Moore, and there's a flyer that comes up. See, I'm just analytical. I'm just made that way. There's a flyer that comes up, and it is from DEG Productions, DJ Hollywood.
Let me hold it right there. Let me find that flyer if I can. Let's see where he's talking. Here we go. Okay. Let me blow it up a little bit. So this is the flyer that he's referring to. All right. Let me go back down so you guys can see the whole thing. All right. Let me play it. Let's go.
The first annual citywide Freakathon. I think that, Freakathon College Jam. And it says, DJ Hollywood rocks the world. On the bottom of that flyer is very interesting because it shows you two other DJs that are going to be part of that jam. The first DJ that they show you is DJ Junebug, who is a Puerto Rican. And the second one is DJ Reggie Wells. DJ Junebug was the host DJ for the legendary Disco Fever. Hollywood and Junebug were like this. Junebug has passed away. Junebug is a known DJ from the early days of the culture. Okay.
Now, let's dissect that. Let's dissect that, what he just said. Now, first of all, he wants to suggest in a way that Junebug and DJ Hollywood were contemporaries, right? But that is not true. And I'm going to get into that in a minute. Now, the other thing he wants to suggest is that Junebug was an early DJ, but he wasn't. He was a later DJ. I'm going to play a video of Grand Mixer DXT, who's going to talk about first, second, and third tier DJs. Junebug would be considered maybe fourth tier because he comes near the ending of 1970s, in the 1970s, not the beginning. All right. So there's a interesting thing that also I want to point out. Let me blow this up so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Okay. It says 1979 right here. That's when this particular thing was going on. And 1978 right there. Okay. That's what these functions, it wasn't in the early days. It was the later portion or years of the 70s. All right. Let me go to a particular Facebook post. Now, he slipped up when he said that Junebug was part of the culture. The culture of what, Cologne? Hip hop? But wasn't he a disco DJ? I thought disco DJs aren't a part of the culture of hip hop. Now, this is where the anti-blackness comes in. Because when he talks about the brothers in the early 70s, and he calls them disco DJs, he says they're not a part of hip hop. But the Puerto Rican, he says he is part of the culture. So you see the anti-blackness. He does not want to give credit to the black DJs that preceded her, because then that would mean that this was in fact a black culture. He can't accept that. Let's continue.
So now we're dealing with DJs right now. Okay, so that's funny that this whole trailer is based around trying to disprove something, and it debunks itself by having a Puerto Rican DJ on the flyer who is not just somebody who nobody knew. Everybody knew DJ Junebug. In fact, Grandmaster Flash and their famous song, The Message, Grandmaster Melly Mel. At the end of the song, you hear the cops and the sirens, and then you hear them saying, yo, what's up, man? Where we going this weekend? And he says, I'm going up to the Fever to check out Junebug. That's who they're talking about, the Puerto Rican. You see what I'm saying? Again, we from New York, we don't think in these terms. We don't think that's the Puerto Rican, that's the African American, that's the Jamaican. I'm just bringing this out because of this lie that's being told. But we don't think, we don't rock like that. We never thought like that.
Now, that's clearly not true. You guys, there was a difference in terms of how we looked at each other. And I'm going to give you I'm going to show a video improving that point. But first of all, let me go to a Facebook post that talks about Junebug. Now, listening to Cologne, you would think that DJ Hollywood and Junebug were contemporaries, right? But let me read this. This is actually from the Hip Hop Museum, right? Okay, DJ Junebug, Jose Almeida Jr., born 1958, passed away 1983, was born and raised in the Bronx, New York. Many of his peers consider him to have been one of the greatest DJs ever. It was at Club 371 where he first honed his skills under the tutelage of DJ Hollywood. Later, he became the resident DJ at the world-famous Disco Fever. Just weeks after the release of Games People Play, a record he helped produce, and I actually think Curtis Blow was part of that production as well, he and his girlfriend Linda were found slain in his apartment. So, Junebug learned under an African-American DJ, honed his skills, basically was Hollywood's apprentice. There's no mistake about it. Junebug was a great DJ from all accounts, but he learned under us. And there was this recognition of him being a Puerto Rican in terms of the climate or the environment where he operated and where he played. And I'm going to play a video of, that and, explaining that.
They say, yo, man, that Fever, yo, went past the Fever, the line was around the corner.
It's like leaving out of hell. Abandoned buildings, empty locks. I just remember a lot of poverty around. But then you got the Fever to escape. The music, and you could see the people on the floor just dancing, and they were just, oh God, it was just.
Then here's this DJ up there, Puerto Rican DJ, with a big afro, named Junebug. This kid is nasty. He can just blend one record.
See, even Curtis Blow made that reference, Puerto Rican. So when Cologne says, hey, we didn't know, we didn't care about who was who, that's a lie. See, Cologne wants to paint this fairy tale image of what the 70s was like. And he's dishonest because clearly it was an oddity to have a Puerto Rican DJ. If Curtis Blow has to mention that, then that's all you need to know. Let's go.
You have no idea. You never hear a mistake. The crowd's never offbeat.
It was just out of this world. He would make you dance all night long.
In his peer group, he had Flash, he had Starsky, he had a lot of cats that was considered to be real good turntable masters around him, and he was fighting their heads off. I would go up into the Fever Friday and Saturday nights just to hear Junebug play. Well, DJ Junebug was, to me, and I've always said this, I think that he was the best DJ I've ever seen.
All right, so there you have it. There you have it. Yes, he was a great DJ. No one is doubting that. No one is questioning that. But again, it was our culture. For Curtis Blow to make mention that he was Puerto Rican proves that disco is ours. Disco comes from our heritage and legacy. So he's in our building doing a great job. That's it. So don't make it appear as if, this was a collective thing. No. This is all us. And you are participants.
In 1992, did an article about what they called the Big Three, the King story. And they deemed the Big Three, I believe, Africa Bam, out of hip hop, the Big Three, big names, big figures, big people out of hip hop was Africa Bambaataa, Grandmaster Flash, and Kool Herc. What did you think of that article? Were you ready?
Well, that's a big Otello, should I say? Okay. So, let me just tell the story. So, there was a photo shoot, and because I'll come back around to it because I went along with that at first, like everybody else. We all just went along with it, just following the narrative, because we wasn't in the know of understanding what these things are. Like there's a photo that we took for the Source magazine, and we rushed in to take this picture. We was doing these meetings, and then we rushed in to take the picture, and we just went in, took the picture, and then when I got the print back, I looked, and the backdrop was a jail cell. And you know what I'm saying? Wow. Yeah, the backdrop is a prison. We're in a bullpen. And it was like, hurry up, we need to get this picture. We need to take this picture. We're running out of time. It's me, Baby, Damon Dash, Crazy Legs, Mobb Deep, Chuck D. And we're in this picture. And when you look at the picture, it's a bullpen. And, it's magic. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so, like I said, once you're in the know, you start to see these things. But we did a photo shoot. And it was all of us, all the DJs in the Bronx, all the top DJs was at this photo shoot. We shot all day. Ernie Papicelli.
Ernie P. Yeah.
Ernie P.
My
brother. Yeah, I just saw him. So we just did this full-blown photo shoot, right? And then when we're done, TC Islam, bless his heart, he's no longer with us. He comes in, he says, hey, man, I got to get this one picture. Let me get this one picture. I'm working on something for this guy, and I'm not saying his name. So y'all know what I'm talking about. We're going to do this picture, and I want him in the middle, this guy, right? I want him in the middle. And so they took this picture, and everybody was like, okay, cool. A few months later, the Source magazine comes out with this picture, that picture, and it says, the founding fathers of hip-hop. And we were all like, huh? And then for some strange reason, man, we all just said, man, whatever.
Yeah.
Not realizing what the intention was with that article. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not taking anything from any of those two people that's on the cover of that because they did do their thing. But the history has to be corrected. Uh-huh. And they're not first tier.
Okay.
They're second tier.
So Herc?
I spoke to Herc.
Okay.
And I asked Herc, who would be if it was three? Because there's more than that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We have to acknowledge the DJ culture, and we try to pull it into the whole hip hop story, which causes you to sever your umbilical to the origin of your own cultural expressions, and you disconnect from the process. The stream that's going down where these things are growing. There's a DJ John Brown who Herc and Smokey say inspired them. Nobody knows Herc.
DJ John Brown. Right. From where? What borough?
He's in the Bronx.
In the Bronx.
Yeah, he used to do parties on 161st Street at the Hotel Concord Plaza, up on the plaza on 161st Street. Yeah, and the tunnel. It's a club called the Tunnel in the Bronx.
And he inspired Kool Herc.
Both of them say that they was inspired by him too. Like they got stuff from him, but his name is gone. Grandmaster Flowers in 1967 opened for James Brown at Yankee Stadium.
In 1967.
Wow. 1967.
It's Grandmaster Flowers.
Because of the nomenclature issue.
Okay.
He's hip. He's disco.
So they call him disco, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right. So we're gonna deal with that.
Let's deal with it.
Yeah. So, there's this whole thing where you sever the umbilical over these terminology that got construed by people not doing their homework.
Mm-hmm.
Discotheque is a French word, and it means library of music. It's where you go to hear a library of music. So you can go to a disco and hear salsa, merengue, calypso, hip hop, soca. You know what I'm saying? You hear anything. What happened was they brought that to America and put it in these big clubs, and people not saying, okay, this is a discotheque and they playing this style of music, they automatically said that was disco music. In the hood, they played dance records.
Mm-hmm.
The hip hop culture was playing their parents' record collection. So who's hip hop?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
The
parents are.
Right. The parents, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And so, my whole collection was my mother's collection.
Same.
And I would take my mother's records and go do my parties. And she would be seriously upset about me messing up her records. She was needle dropping. You know what I'm saying? So, and so. To come back around, what happened is through this terminology, we sever people out of the story, and then we come up with this birth thing. So now it's reset. Instead of looking at, wait a minute, there's these guys.
Yeah,
these guys were here, and these are the DJs. So the DJ culture, people started catching on and being inspired by these other DJs. The biggest DJ community was not the Bronx, it was Brooklyn. Brooklyn was the biggest DJ place you can go. Grandmaster Flowers was the biggest DJ, street DJ. Pete DJ Jones was the biggest New York City DJ. He was from the Bronx, but his name you would hear. When I first heard Pete DJ Jones, I thought DJ meant, Darren Justice or Darren James. I thought it was his middle name. I didn't know that meant a disc jockey, and that's how long ago that was, and then these other DJs, you hear their names, Maboya, these are big DJs, but what happens is the youth and the frequency, we start connecting to the rhythms, so we're clearing out the strings, the violins, all of that, just play that part. For some strange reason. That's deep.
We just want the beat.
We just want the drums because that's written in our code. And so that's what happened. So the older guys, some started going because now you're getting paid money to play in these clubs. So and looking sharp, and people are growing up and getting older, and the guys and the girls so they go off and do that. But we out in the streets.
Yeah.
And we want to dance, and we want to roll around on the ground and do all of this stuff. And so some of those DJs stayed with that group. Herc, Mario, and Smoke are older than us.
Yeah.
But they stayed with us. And they played the records that we wanted to hear so we can do our spiritual thing, our sun dancing.
So Kool Herc, Mario,
Kool Herc,
Disco King Mario,
Disco King Mario, and Smokey.
Who's Smokey?
DJ Smoke.
DJ Smoke.
And we can get him on the phone.
Let's do that now. All right.
A founding father of hip hop. I don't usually talk about myself, but I am today. Okay, in 1971, I think I got interested in music, playing music on the turntables and stuff like that. I used to go down to the village with my friends, and we used to see go down to the Duke, the Raspberry Freeze, and we used to watch the DJs down there do their things. They were playing music that you hear on the radio. It was no hip hop back in those days. No hip hop records. It was no hip hop anything. It was just music beats. You had your good parts at the beginning, the middle part, and the end. The middle part is usually the part that they really put the breaks in and it's the good part of the record because everybody's dancing was waiting for that part to come. And it's rhythm and blues that was mostly playing, and then disco came out. By that time, I have taught my mother stereo. I got another turntable. I was splicing wires and putting things together to mix records because I was so fascinated how these guys played their music. And so I probably did a birthday party for myself. I forgot how old I was at that period. And I invited people over from Brooklyn because I'm originally from Brooklyn. I went to school in Brooklyn from first grade on up. No, not the first grade, I'm sorry. Maybe the third, fourth grade on up, because I came from North Carolina. We lived in Harlem for a moment, then we came to Brooklyn. So I got most of my raising in Brooklyn, most of my style from Brooklyn. That's what made me different when I came to the Bronx. And I was in also I started my DJ career in a group called Fantasia from Brooklyn. It was me, Cool DJ D, Larry B, and Chips. And we started Fantasia DJ group. We played one day in Jimmy's, one night in Jimmy's, a club on 52nd Street or 54th Street down there somewhere in Manhattan. And I played against Plummer. And we had like house speakers. We wasn't prepared for Plummer, man. We really wasn't prepared for him. And we had house speakers. We had like, house stuff trying to play a club. This guy had Plummer had professional equipment, folded horns, 18-inch woofers. He blew us away. It's probably one of the worst DJ nights I had.
Now, we talk about sound clash culture. Now, they were battling the bands or battling the DJs in Brooklyn. Had nothing to do with the sound clash culture. That's what I'm saying. This folklore is just unbelievable. Let's go.
Tell you the truth, it's embarrassing. It was embarrassing. But anyway, when Plummer turned off his music, we turned on our music, and it wasn't as loud. And our amplifier had overheated and blew the circuit. So that was embarrassing, and we went on from there. But I saw Plummer equipment. I seen what he had. I saw the professionalism, the turntables and the mixer and stuff like that. And I'm like, God, this is the first time I ever saw a crossfade mixer. And that's from, and Plummer's from Brooklyn. So Brooklyn at that time was way ahead of the Bronx when it comes to electronics. Way ahead when it came to DJing. There was more DJs in Brooklyn than there was in the Bronx. Because you had Plummer, Flowers, Maboya, you had Soul Brothers, and all these guys was from Brooklyn. I got my GLI mixers, like Plummer. Plummer had GLI equipment, so whatever Plummer had, I went out and got it. I had folded horns, bass woofers. I got me some folded horn bass woofers. You know what I mean? 18-inch 7 Vegas, yeah. I had my GLI speakers, and stuff like that. I played, started playing clubs. Now, the first time, Kool Herc, the first time I met Kool Herc, and the reason I'm telling you the story because I believe that Kool Herc had the music, but I had the style, the mixing style. And when I heard the music, and then I started playing the beats and mixing them the way I mixed them, and it started an explosion because when the other people, the other DJs, or the people that I sparked interest in being a DJ, heard me, they interpreted what I was doing and how I was doing it. And it made them want to go out there and do it because when I played outside in the parks and stuff like that, people will come around and look at me. It scares me sometimes. It just scared me how they used to be around the ropes just looking and just amazed at what I do because it reminded me when I was at the Duke and at Raspberry Freeze watching those DJs and I was amazed. Scares me sometimes. Sometimes they come running up to the things. You scared because I used to keep a 38 in back of in my orange milk crate. So first time I heard Kool Herc was at Executive Playhouse. I don't know what year that was. I think maybe 70 something. But I heard him. see what he was doing. I was hired to play at the Executive Playhouse by the owner. His name was Troy at the time. Kool Herc was playing there like on Friday night, and I was going to be there on Saturday night, so I went to check it out. So checked out Kool Herc and see what he was playing. You know, I felt at the time he was no threat to me, because he had like his system had a lot of distortion. He was using guitar amplifiers and guitar speakers. So, they was designed to play instruments, not music. And he wasn't a mixer. He'll put the record on, let it play, blah, 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 blah. Put the record on, slide over, put it up, put another turntable on, let it play. And it wasn't no mixing. It wasn't no cutting. It was just put the record on, play the goddamn music. And, it was no style in what he did. And
so basically, like, hey, everybody, this is what Folklore does. It builds people up. And then when you actually talk to the people who were there, you realize it wasn't all that. And Kool DJ D is explaining what Herc was like in the very beginning.
Do you subscribe to the notion that there are 3 founding fathers of hip hop?
No.
No what? Remember, they can't hear my questions. Mm-hmm. So you could word that however you want.
No, hip hop was formulated through a bunch of DJs, right? There was a Kool Herc, and there was a Flash, there was Bambaataa, there was DJs before them, like me, myself, and it was Mario. You had other people like Breakout. You have other people like the L Brothers. You had other people like AJ. These people put music, hip hop on the map. And it just wasn't these guys. Herc had the music. He did his music thing. You can't take anything from him on that. Bambaataa had the records, But, I had the crossfade mixer. And they couldn't do all the technical stuff they did if they didn't see me having that, or the crossfade mixer never came out. So with the crossfade mixer and Herc music and Bambaataa's records, everything came together as one, and then it exploded. And then the rappers started coming in and went crazy. And then they started making records of what was going on in the streets. And once people heard it on a record and they heard it in the streets, they really went wild, because this is raw. This is really hip hop. And the industry didn't even know what to do with it. They wasn't touching it, Now they messed it up because the industry is into it now, and they making the music again, just like disco, duplicating the same sound over and over and over. When hip hop, the creativity in hip hop, that it can go either way. It can go so many ways. Don't keep doing the same thing. Make it fresh and new. But that's how it is now these days. The money here. They want to get all the money out of it here.
Like, let me milk this cow till there's no more milk. Then we'll give them something else.
Yeah, right till the wheels fall off.
Was the Bronx besieged upon? Like, were people coming from all over to come to these parties?
All right. Man, this is a good history lesson. I hope you guys are enjoying it and getting this information. All right, let's get back to that particular diagram. We're going to touch on that and really get into detail and how Cologne came up with this narrative. I believe the next excerpt, or the audio excerpt on Cologne's critique, was about Charlie Rock. Needless to say, we all heard what happened on that particular interview. And Charlie Rock clearly said it was black culture. So it's really nothing Cologne could say other than that he disagreed. He could disagree all day long. The evidence points to black culture. So let's get with this 1975 narrative that he comes up. Now, why do I have the Jamaican flag under B-Boy? I had that there because he's credited, according to Cologne, in 1975, Herc is credited for coining the phrase B-Boy. So if that is a creative item or element, then Jamaicans are part of the creation of hip hop culture. Okay, now let's talk about breaking. Now this is a very interesting one. Breaking. I got the Puerto Rican flag. Now why do I have the Puerto Rican flag? Because under Cologne's narrative, the Puerto Ricans are the face of breaking, and therefore they should be credited for creating breaking. Now, how does he make that connection? Now, there's three ways that he makes this connection. He starts out by the fact, like I just alluded to, that they became the face in 1979 after the success of Sugar Hill Gang's Rapper's Delight. They became the face of breaking. All right, so that's how we all know Puerto Ricans were there. Had it not been for Rapper's Delight, we would not know that Puerto Ricans were a part of breaking. That's just a historical fact. Okay, now the other thing, in 1975, apparently this Puerto Rican rocking crew called TBB, the Bronx Boys, they became a rocking crew in 1975. Now, Cologne wants you to think that this rocking crew was a breaking crew. He made suggestions in the past to suggest that they were the first breakers before the Zulu Kings. Whenever you hear Cologne list the early breaking crews, he'll list all the Puerto Rican breaking crews first, and then he'll leave the Zulu Kings for last, trying to give the impression that the Zulu Kings were after these Puerto Ricans, when in reality, it was the Zulu Kings who were first. But you got to remember, this is part of a narrative. Now, he takes it a step further to connect those two things by suggesting this particular dance called the rock dance that came out of Brooklyn, I believe. He says that that is the precursor to breaking. And he said that the rock dance was created by Puerto Ricans. Now, I did a video about the rock dance. If you scroll down my video list, you will see this video. This goes into detail explaining that the rock dance comes from Black American culture. Now, does Cologne care about facts? Facts be damned. All right? So he uses those three elements. Let me go to the other graph. He uses those three to connect Puerto Ricans to breaking. Now, let me play this video. This is going to show Dancing Doug, who says that that TBB was not a breaking crew in 75, 76. But you know what? Facts be damned.
Which they still do now. You see them guys when they little bits, they jump up there, when they crouch their face and walk, whatever. That came from the burn style. You know, so you can see the evolution of the dance when, say, 75, 76, when TBB comes in. And they were rocking crew. Like, I never heard the expression up rock, top rock. I never even heard them until I started doing the documentary. Because we didn't call it. We just said going off. He's going off. He's going off. Going off. That's the name of the documentary, going off. That's what we did. Keep going off. Going off. And even when you talk with guys like Abby, started TBB, he was talking about how he would do the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. That would be his. He would start getting go with the bits and go on the ground and start, yeah, whatever. You need to have your own signature move. Frankenstein, James Bond. James Bond would like do the robot, walk up to push back and fall on the ground, slide back on the ground, take up the stinker, dial in stinker, like he would get smart. So I'm talking to a stinker, then get up and pop in the head with it, That was just how it was. It was some kind of crazy stuff, but that's what the Herc's party was. Something wild. I had a sombrero. I come with a sombrero on and be dancing around with sombrero, She didn't fall down and do my little break and everything, but it was fun dancing. There was a lot more fun to it. It just wasn't straight compete.
Okay, so you hear Doug saying that it was similar. The up rock or the rocking in 75, 76 was the same thing the brothers were doing by a different name. It all comes from the same root or source, which is Black culture. My video dealing with that topic explains that thoroughly. So when Cologne says that it comes from Puerto Ricans, isn't it amazing that the rock dance is done to our music? But that's another topic. They then try to say that our music isn't our music. All these anti-Black taxes to suggest that we're not even connected to, we're the ones that have been hoodwinked into thinking that somehow the music that we call Black American music is not our music. This is how desperate these people are. All right, now let's go to the merry-go-round. Now, the merry-go-round is described as simply connecting or extending breaks in a song. Now, clearly, there were DJs prior to Herc that was extending songs or breaks. Cool DJ D talked about that in another video. I didn't show it in this one. But there were DJs doing this before. Cologne just wants you to think it was just Herc that was doing it. Okay, now Herc gets noted for it, but other DJs were doing it before Herc. So this is how you attach the merry-go-round. So basically the music, the breaks becomes a genre of music, according to Cologne. So this is why the Jamaicans get the flag, according to Cologne. Now, when we go to graffiti, that's everybody. No one can, say one culture alone did graffiti. Now, he gives us MCing and rapping. So that's the only element of hip hop culture that he says that's Black American. So you can see how he comes up with this narrative that it was Jamaicans, Puerto Ricans, and African Americans. Okay, so I just needed you guys to understand his mindset is totally bizarre, but totally ahistorical. And that's why it troubles me that he calls himself a historian, yet he doesn't believe in the history. He makes up his own facts, doesn't believe the actual pioneers. What I've shown you were actual pioneers talking about the history that hip hop or the culture of hip hop started in 71. All right. And Grand Mixer DXT talked about that we severed the culture by disconnecting quote unquote disco DJs from hip hop DJs, when in actuality, it's all connected. Think about it like this. Let's look at Isaac Hayes. He comes from Memphis, Tennessee, Stax Records, Southern Funk background, right? He's credited for making the first disco record, which is the theme from Shaft. So it's connected. It's disco, funk, is all under the branch of foundational Black America. So to separate it is being disingenuous and being anti-Black. To include yourself, to suggest that you're on an equal playing field as Black Americans when it comes to the creation of hip hop. That's a total lie. And we as Black Americans, we're not going to put up with it. We're not going to put up with it. All right. Again, I'm sorry for this video being so long, but it's so much I had to get in. Listen, we're going to fight. We're going to continue to push on. If this is the first time you're hearing this or hearing about this channel, whatever you do, if you don't subscribe, I'm asking you to. I would love for you to subscribe. But if you don't, make sure you hit that like button on your way out so other people can get this information. We really need to get this information out at least until the doc comes out from Tariq. So I'm going to continue to do my part. So in the next time, hopefully I'll see you soon. God willing, peace.